Hello and welcome to Scratch Basics. I'm Mr. Elliott, and in this lesson, we're going to be making the ghost game. So here I've got Scratch open. Let's just go to Create. And I would like to make a game about a ghost that scares you, and you have to click on it to kind of ward it off. So let's jump right in and create a new sprite. So I would like the ghost, so I'm just going to go over here and search for ghost. Let's get rid of our cat because we're not going to need him. And I'm actually, let's see, nope. So, how do I want my game to work? I want my ghost to appear, and it appears kind of faded out, and it gives us a little bit of time to see it. Then it scares you, and it gives you a very short window to click on it before it goes away. And that's when you would get your point. So, I am going to go over here to when green flag clicked, and what we're going to do is, since this is a score type of game, so it can actually go on for an unlimited amount of time, I'm going to grab a forever, and down here in control we're going to take create a clone of myself. So this basic code right now will make a lot of clones very quickly, so we're going to want to wait some time between each clone. So let's do like 5 seconds. Okay, perfect. So this has gotten us started here. Let's go over to when I start as a clone, because remember, every time I make a clone, I want to make sure that I have some code for when I start as a clone. That way I know what my clone is doing, of course. And what we're going to do with our clone is we're going to go to a random position. Let's go ahead and just test it out right now. So let's press play. We should be getting a new clone every 5 seconds. And let's see, there we go. And it should just be going to a random place. So that is looking perfect so far. Now, when I make a game like this, and I have kind of a, let's call this ghost like the main ghost or the original ghost, I always like to go up to looks and use hide, and then I will show the clone. So my main ghost, this is for my main ghost, he's going to be hidden all the time. We'll never see him. Instead, we're just going to show our clone ghosts. Okay, perfect. Now let's see. I would like my ghost to scare the player. It's kind of like a little creepy game. So we're going to wait 1 second. And our ghost is going to change costumes. Now if we go to the ghost costumes, this one is a perfect costume for scaring. That is our third costume, Ghost C. So let's go over to looks. We're going to switch our costume to Ghost C. So now let's go ahead and test it out. Oh, so it looks like our costume is already Ghost C. So that's something we need to be careful of. Let's make sure we switch our costume to Ghost A right when it spawns. So here we go. And then it scares us. Perfect. That is exactly what we're looking for. So now let's make sure we have our code ready for clicking on our ghost, because this is going to be a clicker game. So we need when this sprite is clicked. So when this sprite is clicked, our ghost is going to disappear, right? So let's delete this clone. And now let's go ahead and test it out. There we go. When I click, my clone is deleted. It's a good start. Now we need to make sure to add our variables, or else we really don't have a game. And we're going to need 2 variables for this game. We're going to need score, and we're going to need lives, because the way we're going to do it is every time we click our ghosts and it works out, we get some bonus score. But if we get too scared, we're going to lose our lives. So here we go. Let's work on our lives right now. So first of all, we want to make sure we set our lives to 3 every time we start our game. So right here, when I press the green flag, my lives are 3. Perfect. And then We want so that when we get scared, our lives go down. So we're going to do change lives by -1, right? Because that means our lives are going down by 1 every time we get scared. So let's go ahead and test that out. There we go. When our ghost does his scary costume, our lives are going down. Perfect. That is exactly what we want. And let's go ahead and also add a little boo to our ghost. We're going to have him say boo. Let's test that out. Awesome. Now my background is completely plain right now, so before I continue, let's go ahead and pick a fun, scary background. Where should my ghost be when he's scaring us? I love these woods right here. I think the ghosts fit perfectly. So let's go ahead and test this out. Every time we get scared, our lives go down. But we also want our ghost to disappear when our lives go down. So I'm going to go back up to control. We're going to delete this clone. So now we're going to wait 1 second. When he spawns, he's going to switch his costume to the scary costume. He's going to say boo. Our lives are going to go down by 1, and then he's going to delete himself. But you might notice a problem here. We are going to need to add something, and I'm going to hit play and show you. See, our ghost just disappears. There's no fun animations or anything. That's because we need to wait another second right here. Let's see it. Nice. And now he goes away, and a new ghost will show up. Perfect. And let's see what happens when we hit 0. Oh, did you notice that ghost was kind of, he's like halfway stuck up there. So a very cool way to fix that is actually by using if on edge bounce. So we would usually use if on edge bounce, for like a ball bouncing on the edge or something, but we can actually use this to make sure, here, let me put my ghost up here. See, he's on the edge right now. If I use if on edge bounce, if I click on it, see, he's gonna get popped out of the edge. But a big problem is that he's now going to be kind of tilted to the side. So there's a couple ways to fix that. We can just click on direction over here and press this little button in the middle. And now he can only be moved left and right, no rotation. And we're just going to put if on edge bounce right here, right after he goes to a random position. So we'll always have our ghost in the perfect spot. But if you did notice, our lives reached 0, but our game was still going, and that is going to be a little bit of a problem. We want our game to stop when we hit 0 lives. So we are going to take an if, and remember, if will be checking to see what's going on. So we're going to take our operator, our less than operator. We're going to go to lives. We're going to take our lives and just plug it right in here. So if our lives are less than 0, right? Actually, we're going to do less than 1, because 0 is less than 1. If we did 0, then we would have to reach -1 lives. So let's do if our lives are less than 1. I'm going to plug that right in here. What happens if our lives are less than 1? We're, of course, going to end our game. And for now, I'm going to pick stop all. And that's just going to stop all of these other pieces of code from working. And where am I putting this? I'm going to put this right here, because our lives go down right here. And then we're going to check to see what our lives are. So let's go ahead and see. Our ghosts are scaring us. There's another one. Our lives are 1. Oh, it was a little abrupt, so maybe we should move this up here. There we go, perfect. And you know what, just for now, I'm going to make this a little faster. I'm going to make it 3 seconds. That way our ghosts spawn more frequently, and we can test our game a little easier. So let's see, we have our ghosts spawning. We can click on them, and they get deleted. But we don't get any points. So let's go down to variables, and every time I click on my ghost, so when this sprite is clicked, I will change my score by 1. So let's see. There we go, 1 point. 1 point, and my lives are not going down, you know, because I'm not being scared. And here I got scared. I'm getting scared again. And that's the final one. Nothing should happen from now on. There we go. Our game is working properly. So let's see, what else can we add? There's actually a lot of really cool stuff to add to a game like this. First of all, I would like to make my ghost a little see-through, right? Because ghosts, they're kind of see-through. So we're going to use set color effect to 0. But we're actually going to click here, and we're going to pick set ghost effect to, let's do 70. We're going to go ahead and plug that right in over here. And so now when my ghost spawns, there we go. Oh, I actually would like my ghost to be see-through and then solid. So I'm going to move some stuff around here. Going to bring this over here. And then we're going to set our ghost effect to 0, and that will make it completely solid. So now if I press play, he's see-through, he's solid. He's see-through, he's solid. Perfect. But it's a little too easy now, right? Because all I need to do is just click right when I see a ghost. Click. There's really nothing too hard about that. What I think should happen is when the ghost is a little see-through, and if we click on him then, we should lose a little bit of points. That way we really have to wait right when we get scared, and there's not a whole lot of time. So let's go ahead and work on that. We're going to focus on this piece of code right here when this sprite is clicked. So let's go ahead and go to control, and we're actually going to grab an if then else. Now this big piece of code is super useful. It's going to let us do something, and then if that doesn't work, it's going to do something else. We can actually come out with 3 different options here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to operators and grab an equals. We're going to go to looks and grab towards the bottom, costume number. So what I'm going to do with these guys here is I'm going to bring costume number in right here, and we're going to do equals 3, right? Because the scary costume is this one right here. So if our costume number is 3, so that's when we're getting scared, that is where we should be getting some points, and that's where we should be deleting the clone. Very nice. Otherwise though, if we click on our guy when he's not costume 3, we should lose some points. So I'm going to go change score by, and I will do negative, let's do -2, that way our players really know not to click him during that time. So let's see. So see if I click, oh, I just noticed our score is not resetting to 0 every time we start. So let's make sure, let's grab set score to 0 every time we start. Here we go. Now if I click, you'll see if I click, oh, but here now there's a problem. We're just always going to die. Our lives are always going to go too low. Oh, and there's another problem. Our game is not ending anymore. Something's wrong. So let's go ahead and fix that. Now in this new version of the game, I think we should have our ghost be see-through and then solid, and then if we don't click him, that's when we will lose our life. So let's grab another if then else, and all we gotta do is we gotta move this over here, bring stop all in here, and then we're gonna hang on to delete this clone for now, but this is gonna be super important. So what we're going to do here is we're gonna grab, let's say we're gonna grab all of this right here, put it down here. And then we're also going to grab this wait 1 second and just put it right here. And let's connect it up. And then we're just going to move this wait 1 second right here. So what this is going to do is while our ghost is at costume 3, so this right here is when our ghost is scaring us, we have exactly 1 second to click on him, right, and delete him before we lose a life. So let's go ahead and see. If we click fast enough, you'll see our lives are staying, but if we are too slow, then our lives go down. Oh, and we're also missing one thing. Gotta make sure that he deletes himself. So we're gonna go delete this clone. Perfect. Now let's go and see if everything is working. So we get a point every time we click. Nice. And then let's see if we are too slow. Oh, our lives have gone down. If we're too slow, there go our lives. And if we're too slow here, we should, there we go. The game has ended because, of course, right here, we're stopping everything. Perfect. But there's something missing. The ghosts, they're just showing up kind of in the same rhythm, right? They show up, they scare you, you know exactly how long you have to wait. I think it would be really cool if we grabbed a pick random and we put it right in here. So what this is going to do is it's going to make it so our ghosts wait a little bit of time before scaring you. And let's change these numbers to 0.5, that's going to be half a second, and 3, that's going to be 3 seconds. So now, every time our ghost shows up, and I can show you here, he can either scare you really quickly, or he might wait a lot longer. Let's see. Oh, this one's waiting. Nice. And so now we're not really sure when he's going to scare you, which I think is going to be way more fun. And there's one more really cool thing we can do to make this game a little harder. So over here, we're making a new clone every 3 seconds, right? So to make it harder, we could make more clones here, or I have a very cool technique. If I go over to control, I can use create a clone of myself. And check it out. If I put it right here, that means every time I click a ghost, I'm going to make a new clone of the ghost. So let's see. Oh, here we go. Oh, now we've got ghosts all over the place. Oh, we need to be fast enough. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm fast enough. Oh, I missed one. Oh. Oh. And I think we've got -2 lives because there was too many ghosts. We got overrun. So that is a fun way to make it harder. And I think because of that, we can make this number a little larger. Let's do every 10 seconds. And don't worry if you're a little confused right now. I'm going to go over everything step by step so it will all make perfect sense. Let's see. Let's test our game out. See. So every time I click a ghost, it'll make a new one. And then every 10 seconds, we're going to add a new ghost into the game. So now I'm clicking, I gotta be fast enough. Now there's 3 ghosts that I have to worry about. If you feel like it's too hard or it's too easy, you can always change all these numbers. So what we can do, we can definitely give ourselves more lives right here. Maybe we have 5 lives. We can slow down how often a ghost spawns. So maybe every 15 seconds, right? Because then we won't see another ghost for another 15 seconds. There's a lot of really fun ways to make this game more interesting. So we're almost done. We're pretty much, I think we're at a great point right now. But what we could do is, I think we can add a tutorial. Now, if you don't know what a tutorial is, it is a little, it could be like a picture, it could be a piece of word, it could be a video. It kind of just tells you how to do something. And in this case, we're going to tell the players how to play our game. So if we go over to backdrops here, and then the backdrops, just like our sprites, they have a costume section up here called backdrops. We can press this T button, and that's our text. I'm going to pick a different color here. We're going to go white. click the ghosts after they scare you. So I've put, there we go, and now it's not really centered, so I'm going to click my mouse up here to move it. Let's put it right there. And I went ahead and wrote after in all caps because we really want our players to know when to click the ghosts. And so now you'll see it's showed up over here. I'm going to full screen and see if our game makes sense, right? Because imagine you're a new player, right? Maybe you want to show this game to your friends or your siblings, and they don't know how to play. So we want to make sure we put this text down here, and that is our tutorial. So let's press that green flag, and now we know click the ghosts after they scare you. So we click them after they scare us, because if we click them before, remember, we're going to lose points. See? Very nice. Oh, 2 ghosts. So maybe 1 second is too long for you, right? Because maybe you're really good at this game and you don't want to wait 1 second after the ghost scares you to lose health, right? So right over here, this is where we're losing our lives. We can make that 0.5, and that's going to be half a second. Let's see what that looks like. Very fast. So maybe this is for advanced players. Oh, I think we've just run into another problem, right? So if we don't click on our ghost, we don't ever make a new clone of it. So what we should do is we should create a clone of myself, and we should put it right here. That way, when our ghosts disappear, they're just going to reappear. Perfect. So let's go through what this code does right now. Let's go through this little piece right here. So every time we press our green flag, we're going to set our score to 0 and our lives to 5. And we're going to hide my main ghost. Remember my main ghost. And then forever, so this will happen all the time, we're going to make a clone of our ghost. And we're going to wait 15 seconds. And then we're going to make another clone. That just means our game will get harder every 15 seconds. So that is wonderful. Next up, when I start as a clone, so when my ghost is cloned, we're going to set the ghost effect to 70. That makes it a little see-through. We're going to switch his costume to Ghost A, and remember Ghost A is the normal ghost. We're going to show him, right, because remember our main ghost is hidden, so we have to make sure we're showing him. He's going to go to a random position on the screen, and then remember, if he's on the edge, he's going to bounce off because we don't want half of a ghost. Right after that, if our lives are less than 1, so if our lives have reached 0, we're going to stop all, and this is just going to stop everything in my code here. All these pieces will be stopped. If that's not the case though, right? So if this happens, we stop. Else, so that means if this is not the case, we're going to wait a certain amount of time, and that's going to be random. We're going to make our ghost completely solid. He's going to scare us with costume C, and that is this costume right here. And then he's going to say boo, of course. We're going to wait a small amount of time, and if we don't click him in this time, we're going to lose a life, and we're going to make another clone of our ghosts. And that is, of course, when we're going to delete the first ghost that scared you. Now here, this is where we're taking care of clicking. So when we click our ghost, if the costume is 3, and remember costume number 3 is this costume right here. So if our ghost is in this scary costume, we're going to get a point. We're going to make a new clone of the ghost, and we're going to delete this one so that our game keeps going, right? But if that's not the case, we're just going to lower our score by 2. And that's pretty much it for our game. Before we finish though, let's make sure we go up here to Untitled. Let's delete that and put our name. I'm going to call it Mr. Elliott Ghost Game. And let's make sure we press Save Now if we have that option. If we don't, we can just go over here to File, Save Now. Thank you so much for joining me on this lesson. I'm Mr. Elliott, and I hope to see you in a future lesson.